The Thing looked great.
Yep.
No issues with The Thing. It might be the best thing we've seen through those other.
The best thing.
Good one. Me.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerdy Misfit Podcast.
Howdy doodly.
It's been a while since we've actually been in our little studio.
It feels weird. It's been almost like 2 weeks for us, actually.
Yeah, like a week and a half, close to the end of the...
Yeah.
But if you're new around here, we have a nerd-based podcast. We talk about anime, comics, mostly movies, Marvel, and hopefully continuing DC.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Check out the Superman episode a couple weeks ago.
Those would be our main forte. We have dabbled in RPGs as well as RPG episodes.
Yep.
Hoping to do more of those in future. And yeah, if you just like nerdy stuff, I'm sure we have talked about it at least once on this podcast. So hit subscribe and stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have a podcast that is more targeted towards you.
Yes. And
If you're here for today's episode.
For today, Fantastic Four?
Yes.
First steps?
This is going to be a spoiler-filled review.
Crazy concept.
First dive into the Fantastic Four
Yes,
movie.
the beginning of Phase 5.
This is our last film of the at least the summer.
Last
that we
big movie that will be going to theaters for comic book related
It has
stuff.
been busy.
But
with,
obviously,
with shows and
yeah.
movies. It has
we
been
still
busy.
have 4 Marvel shows and a Star Wars show and Percy Jackson, but we'll get into that in a different
we
episode.
will definitely get into that.
But yeah, so Fantastic Four First Steps came out July 25th, 2025, North America here. Budget, marketing, somewhere around $450 million.
Yeah, that number. I don't think the official numbers.
I don't
this
think
is
it's like the
roughly
rough
where
estimate.
I can find. Yeah, 450
Yeah,
to 500.
Obviously,
area.
Marvel Studios director Matt Shackman, his first time coming back to Marvel since WandaVision.
Oh,
He directed
the
all
whole
of
thing?
WandaVision. Yeah, and this is he was asked to come back and do this back in like 2022 when they were first kind of talking about it.
Kind of
Genre,
ironic because he did. I mean,
both
WandaVision's-
family shows.
One,
in
it
a
starts
way.
with that old fashioned.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Sitcom for WandaVision, and then he comes in for the.
I like his style.
He can do the retro.
Exactly. Obviously, a superhero. IMDb, as of us recording, is sitting at a 7.4. Rotten Tomato critic score is 87. Audience score is 92.
As we're recording it.
Yes.
That's a little bit weird that the IMDb is so low in comparison. I don't know what. I've never done research into how many more
Who
users are
goes-
on each,
yeah.
but I found
And Letterbox is actually getting popular too. I've been debating
Oh,
about
yeah,
throwing
for their
Letterbox scores in here. So maybe not this film, but the future films we might include Letterbox scores as well.
which is a very large discrepancy, I think, for
Yes.
7.4 to all the way to
92.
92.
Yeah. Box office as of recording this is 198 mil domestic and 368 million worldwide. Crazy.
It's not quite there yet for
Breaking
even, which is
it will,
I'm sure.
but
Marvel
not
is-
by much.
Yeah, I'm sure Disney and Marvel are watching it.
Yeah.
like a hawk.
Yeah, obviously. So your main core actors, actresses is everyone's favorite movie daddy, Pedro Pascal.
I don't know. I feel like some people are starting to get tired
but
of him.
he's getting a little canceled now.
Is he? I didn't notice.
Yeah, he's I don't want to get too controversial on the podcast, but the way he
Uses
deals with his
anxiety.
anxiety, people are questioning things now.
Oh, interesting.
But we have Vanessa Kirby as Invisible Woman Sue Storm. We got Johnny Quinn as Human Torch Johnny Storm. Ebon Mosk, I can never pronounce his last name. Backraj?
Rock,
Backraj?
I don't know.
As the Thing / Ben Grimm. Ralph Ineson as Galactus. And Julia Garner as Shalabal.
Yeah, there's obviously other people, but this is the main.
Yeah,
Main
there's
cast.
Mole
I
Man comes in.
I was gonna say Kirby.
Herbie.
Herbie, that's it.
Herbie.
Sorry.
Yes, General Grievous.
Thinking about Kirby.
Oh.
Nintendo Direct.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So this is obviously the second good MCU film in a row. I will argue to say Captain America was still pretty decent. Not as good as Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think maybe it got.
But we're on the rise.
We're on the rise.
I think we're on the rise. That might be a hot take because people are so 50-50 with this film.
I I feel like I've only ever
But-
seen really good stuff, other than like, the reviewers who are.
I do have a friend that I messaged him after he saw it, and I was like, "Yo, so what are your thoughts?" He's like, "No, I
Well,
didn't like any of it."
Okay,
I
we'll
was
have to
like,
get into that when
"Whoa."
we get to the dislikes, and maybe
Yeah.
you can mention some of their dislikes because I would be interested in hearing them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a quick little pre-in-depth movie discussion here just to go over, and like Matt said, second good MCU film in a row from our opinion. I
Mhm.
feel like we should say that right off the rip. I think it was a good film. Was
Yeah.
it the greatest MCU film
No.
since Endgame? No, but
No.
it felt like Marvel put in like appropriate time into the writing and into what the story they wanted to tell and
Yes.
which characters they wanted in it and how they were going to show those characters. And it just felt clean. Everything felt clean. And we'll get more into that deeper into the review. I will note, just based on, obviously, we're seeing only at 368 so far. I think this is the second full weekend that's done now
Yes.
as of recording. And there was a huge drop off in the total revenue.
Between
like
60 to 80%.
Yeah, probably not what Disney and Marvel wanted to see.
No.
And hopefully word of mouth goes out and people do go and see it. Because I think it's worth seeing.
My argument to that is I think that there was too much marketing for this film.
There definitely was probably a lot spent on that. Another thing is, depending on how much the budget went to the actual film, Marvel just needs to be smarter with money.
Yeah.
I don't see why a movie that is almost, it was barely, not even 2 hours, right? When we're looking at some of the older Marvel films that were making even more money, they were even longer.
Over 2 hours.
Yeah, like 2 hours and a half, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And they were like making 500 easy.
Yeah.
So
Now,
we'll
here
get
we
into it.
are.
We'll get into it, I think, in a later episode because there's just so much to dive into. But I'm going to ask you this question, Matt,
Mhm.
and then I'll ask the audience if you would be so kind to put your comments down below on what you think. Is it a question of, are people tired of Marvel and superheroes in general,
Mhm.
or just Marvel? Do people no longer trust Marvel to put out a good product and just not blind watching it all the time in the movie theaters? Do people just want to watch stuff at home now? They just don't care to go to the theater in general. Just watch stuff, wait for it to come on Disney Plus. They don't feel a rush. Or is it just,
I'm going to say it's a little bit of everything. Because of the pandemic and COVID and everything like that, people got comfortable sitting at home watching
waiting.
movies. Disney Plus tried that whole pay $40 to be able to see this new movie 2 months earlier than all the other subscribers, and that obviously flopped.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I was talking to some people and they're like, yeah, it's not Fantastic Four's not going to do good in theaters, but it's going to skyrocket on
popularity on Disney
popularity
Plus or
on
something.
stream services, and we've seen it in Marvel movies that are Sony based that flopped. Like Madam Web flopped in the box office, did crazy on streaming services.
But it was bad.
I agree, but that's what I mean. Whether movies are good or bad,
It's irrelevant.
it's irrelevant
Yeah,
when it
people
comes to the
so
streaming
your
services.
thing is like maybe just a good chunk of people just aren't going to the theaters in general.
I think the pandemic changed theaters, and there is statistics saying that theaters are dropping off drastically.
Streaming services are also
So-
expensive. Why spend
Yeah, if
20
I'm already
bucks for a movie and then
if I'm paying that already a month to get all
yeah,
these
and you'll
movies,
be able to watch that movie for I'm not
I
going
just
to say
gotta-
free, but you've already paid for it.
yeah, I just have to wait a couple extra months. When it comes to the whole superhero aspect, I will say that there was a burn of superhero films a couple years ago, and Marvel did the right thing, in my opinion, of last year releasing Deadpool and Wolverine, and that was it for superhero movies.
They finally slowed down.
They slowed down a little bit, and now I think we're trying to build up that momentum. I think we're heading in the right direction because I think Deadpool and Wolverine was a great nostalgia movie.
Yeah.
Then we have Captain America, which again doesn't deserve as much hate as it got.
It was a good setup for
good
some
setup
of-
for the future stuff.
Yeah.
Special effects were whatevs. Thunderbolts, great Marvel movie.
Very solid, yeah.
Marketing for that post-film release was genius.
I liked it.
They killed it in the marketing. And then we have this. Now, the issue with Fantastic Four, in my opinion, is that 2015 Fantastic Four movie, not good. 2005 Fantastic Four movie was decent. Rise of the Silver Surfer, not so much. The 1994 Fantastic Four that never even got released. It's just we
So you think
haven't
the
got a
Fantastic
good
Four in
track
general?
record of Fantastic
Yeah,
Four.
okay.
And
I was gonna say also Superman did good, so obviously it's not a superhero.
it's not a
burnout.
superhero thing, I don't think. But also, that's another thing too, is that in the month of July alone, we had 3 big movie franchises. We had Superman, Fantastic Four, and Jurassic World Rebirth.
So some people just take your pick, really.
Kind of
maybe.
take your pick, and Fantastic Four, unfortunately, was the 3rd one to be released.
Yeah, so maybe if that was
it's-
your choice, like, are you gonna wait? Or,
yeah,
And people are on vacation. That's the other thing in summer. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
we can say that, but you look at other summer films and they explode.
they skyrocket. But I think it is a little bit of mix of everything. So it's tough, and
We'll get into a more in depth when it comes to the state, I think, of Marvel, because we're past the era of people blind bringing a movie up to $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, it does feel like, I feel like the big test will be when we see Doomsday and see those numbers. Are people like, okay, an Avengers film,
Is it going to
are
rank
we all
in?
there?
I think yes, partially because nostalgia, because they're bringing back X-Men members,
Well, and Doctor
but
Doom
and Doctor Doom, got to do them right.
and Robert Downey Jr. I mean,
Yeah. They're
how
playing
much
their
does
cards right
How
for
much
Doomsday.
does he bring in,
but
right? Like for
yeah.
audience, like we'll see. I think we'll definitely put this in a recent slot we have in our
Yes.
future eps to do a really deep dive into the films we know are coming, what the expectations are, what we might think they'll
Mhm.
kind of lay out, and how popular or how well we think they'll perform.
Exactly. And if you're curious on our thoughts of all the past Marvel movies, stay tuned because we have something in the near future coming out in theory. So we're working on. But anyways, back to Fantastic Four First Steps. The story taking place in the 1960s retro futuristic world. We follow the Marvel Comics original founding family, already with their powers and protectors of this so-called world.
Done really well. In my
Done
opinion.
really well. As they face off against an unimaginable foe, aka the one and only Galactus,
Also done
devourer of
amazing.
worlds. Looked amazing. We follow the family as they go through moral debate, scientific breakthroughs, how the world 1 second loves them, 1 second hates them, and then we have the big final fight against the big bad. How does Silver Surfer connect all this, and what will happen to the universe Earth by the end of it?
Yeah.
And so Connor, what did you think about the cinematography, visual effects, production?
I thought it was
etc.?
probably the best visual effects we've seen in a Marvel film. / obviously, it's unfair to compare the shows, but in general, that's unfortunately a lot of what we've been getting a lot recently is the shows, and the shows obviously have a much lower budget, but they also don't.
Mm-hmm.
As we talked about Ironheart, which go check out our Ironheart review if you haven't already. I thought that it was a rare case where it felt like all the CGI was chef kiss, if you will.
Yeah, for the most part.
The biggest one was like when we were going to first see Galactus. That was like the huge test for me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're going. We're going right to Galactus, I guess. And they dive right in. And then his ship was crazy.
Yep.
And then when you finally see Galactus, it felt perfect. The way he looked. They didn't like overdo it with like the comic book level of like purpley pink for him. But
It was blended in nicely.
yeah, it had like
I
the
would
perfect
say.
like shade that just worked and felt more real. And I thought all the powers looked really good. The Thing looked great.
Yep.
No issues with the Thing. It might be the best thing we've seen through those other.
The best thing.
Good one, me. He was probably of all of the Fantastic Fours we've seen. I thought maybe probably looked the best.
Okay.
Also the most comic book accurate. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
were also making a lot of notes of. Even though you don't see a lot of their powers often, like Mr. Fantastic hardly at all.
Stretched.
But also, his power's not exactly
Yeah.
amazing. Human Torch looked good. I liked the style that they went for when he is flame on, if you will. Silver Surfer looked way better than any of the previews or trailers. I don't know if that's because they like got Sonicked and they were like people were not happy, or if that they were just it was early and they weren't ready when they did the trailers. But she looked way better than any of the trailers made her look. But yeah, that was definitely my first thing. The visual effects were pretty chef kiss. Not saying Thunderbolts was bad. Thunderbolts was definitely decent. I felt like Thunderbolts was that start of going up. Where
They had different types of special effects. I found in Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was more actiony style special effects, where this one was more
the visuals.
the visuals. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we talked about from more of a cinematography / in combination, because they kind of just meld together when it comes to these massive films, right? Was some of the sizing of Galactus didn't feel consistent.
Yeah. Obviously, he has
the power to
height
be
shifting
smaller,
abilities, but it felt one shot was smaller, one shot was bigger.
Yeah, I felt like his size wasn't just
questionable.
established as what he was, what size
Yeah.
he was when he was fighting them. But that was the only. But it didn't make him look bad. It was just
No.
more of a continuity issue.
Continuity
I
error, yeah.
guess. What about you?
I was shocked with the effects for the most part. I thought they were really well done. I feel like when the CGI wasn't good, it was Franklin, like when he was a baby and getting Sue to come back to life. But CGI on babies have never looked that great, in my
babies
opinion.
In general, yeah.
It wasn't the best.
didn't
It
look
wasn't
bad.
terrible.
I
but
think that whole scene felt very weird, just like unnatural feeling.
yeah, I feel like we missed something in that scene, but whatever. I think the Thing looked really good, even with the beard, the Human Torch.
I think the beard was
the
epic.
beard was great. Human Torch looked on point. Really, all the family members' abilities looked good in their individuality.
And then they were very seamless, like natural feeling, and like they've had their powers for multiple years.
Exactly. Which, I mean, there's a negative behind that too, but I'll hit some production stuff too. Like I said, Matt Shackman returning to the MCU after WandaVision. He directed it all, so really gets that retro feel, that family vibe. So obviously he doesn't write the scripts, but very, very good feeling in that. John Malkovich was supposed to be in this film, but was cut from the theatrical release. He was Red Ghost, who would have been interesting. I feel like maybe throwing another villain in there could have been too much. But
if they just did it during like the intro,
it would have been an Act 1 villain, pretty much.
Where they were kind of like, oh, they fought this guy and this guy. You would have been like,
I have expected the movie to, like, if they kept him, it would have been in the beginning where they're fighting him and they arrest him just to show their powers individually. I have this an Easter egg, but I'm just gonna toss in here the voice of Herbie. I want to say Matthew Wood, but I'm not entirely sure. His voice is very different than what we're used to because another big project he was in was Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith, where he voiced General Grievous.
Oh,
so the second robot that he's voiced for Disney, at least in a big movie thing. So it's funny seeing him from like General Grievous, like Kenobi, to
a dying like insect.
Yep.
That's funny. Yeah, I guess the big thing here is connection to other films and franchises. Obviously, this is an MCU film. It takes place within the MCU, so I feel like that goes without saying. That is connected to everything in a way. But, big but here, you can, if you have a loved one or some family members who aren't as into watching every single MCU film and following along with every single thing that's going on in the MCU film, great film to watch because it does not actually reference anything else going on in the MCU. It is definitely a properly contained story, and it was a really well done story for the most part. So I would definitely say that was a positive in a lot of ways, and I know we've been very negative of certain good films that also have nothing to do with the MCU. But I felt like this was a restart period. So
I knew you were gonna say that too. So obviously that's my big
I have
pet
to call
peeve.
You out for
So with my big pet peeve, obviously in earlier phases, yes, but since Endgame, I feel like the movies don't have to because we haven't really been building.
We never got that like
Doomsday.
start.
Exactly. So this film, the fact that it is on its own, takes place in an alternate universe.
No origin story.
You can use that argument. No origin story.
Thank God.
It's just tossed right in. This is your one-off story. And then obviously classic MCU so-and-so will return in whatever movie. Yes.
Yeah.
But outside of the so-and-so return, if you didn't know what was going on in San Diego Comic-Con last year with Robert Downey Jr. come back as Doctor Doom, that mid-credit scene would be like, cool, next Fantastic Four film.
Yeah.
Like, there's no giant thing being like, oh, crap, I had to watch all 30-plus movies to get to this point.
No, and I thought it was
It
really
gave
well
me
done.
that Phase 1 feel a little bit.
Like, where's Doom coming? Like,
where's this coming next? What's next,
Yeah, it did feel more of like just a proper Easter egg tease to what could be.
Which, I'm curious about you and also people who are listening, feel free to comment. Do you think Marvel played it too safe with this film then?
No, I think
Like-
I think it was what fans needed.
Mhm.
I don't think we all needed a film that had like Reed already breaking into like the multiverse and
Yeah.
like connecting,
Dots
to
from the
whatever,
whole
or, like,
shebang. Yeah.
showing some Doctor Strange, like maybe like the events of Spider-Man and how that impacted his universe or something. Like
Mhm.
I just liked that it was, hey, this is a story about Marvel's original family. It had a lot of, ups and downs emotionally as you're going through their story. And you end up on I guess a little bit of a high.
Yeah.
And then you get kind of brought down when you reach that credit scene and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Because if you're not a comic book fan, you're probably just like,
Green
well, that
trench
was
coat,
weird.
man.
Yeah, you're like, that's weird. But if you're a comic book fan, you're like, oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy.
But yeah, I felt it just felt right. It felt like the reset kind of that Marvel needed. Something that didn't need to be like the new Avengers. Like Thunderbolts was good, but at the same time, it's gonna always split people because then you have the people who are like, oh, like I don't care about these I don't care about them.
Yeah,
as the
exactly.
New Avengers, right? But that's in the current MCU. They are the Avengers.
Exactly.
But this is just like, what the heck are the Avengers? Who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
who
they
cares?
don't
The
exist
Avengers? This
now,
is just a family of 4.
that are protecting the Earth.
Easy peasy.
So I don't know. I think it was good. And like you said, in past we were building up to Thanos still.
Yeah.
So it did feel odd when there were like those movies that you could have removed from the MCU and had actually like basically no impact at all on what was going on.
Yeah.
And that felt off to us because, well, the MCU is like telling like this story, working our way.
Yeah, it's like I know we talk about anime, but honestly, it feels like you're watching an anime and there's that random filler episode,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, so I could have just skipped that, and then it just jumps back to the main story.
And for us in the original first few phases, like in the phases working up to Endgame, it just felt like, what was the point if you're not building?
Yeah, there was bad movies during like a little bit of phase 1, a little bit of phase 2, but they still helped continue and build the world that we were getting to.
Yeah.
But
even if they weren't the
even if
best.
they weren't great, like Thor: The Dark World, big yikes.
Yeah.
But it still had one of the Infinity Stones. It talked about the Infinity Stones,
Yeah,
But-
it had a lot of setup.
Yeah. And then we look at other movies, and I'm a hater of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That movie added Mantis to the MCU.
Yep.
And Peter Quill's weird powers that didn't quite make sense got kind of taken away. And Yondu died, but Yondu dying isn't really impactful for the overall MCU either.
Correct.
But yeah, I don't know. That Guardians of the Galaxy 2 Volume 2 is a filler episode for me, and that's a hot take, but suck it.
What were some of the positives, Matt? What were some of your positives for the film?
We got to see everyone's powers, yes, but my big positive is we got to see everyone's intelligence individually. The fact that we got to see Human Torch's intelligence.
Yeah, he wasn't just some like playboy.
Yeah.
Like, it was still there.
Yeah,
And
like
the
Chris
Crips-
Evans killed it back in 2005, don't get me wrong, but this actually shows that Johnny Storm there's a reason why he's on the ship with him originally.
Yeah. They showed off his intelligence
Yeah.
well. He still was quippy though.
He was still quippy, he was still that playboy-esque,
But not like to
but not
the
like
annoying level.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought they toned down the classic Marvel quippage,
Yeah, he still had a couple one-liners, which most of them hit.
but it's also part of the character.
Exactly.
It'd be like if Johnny having no quips would be like Spider-Man having no quips. It would just be,
Yeah.
it would just feel wrong.
doesn't feel right.
But
yeah.
it's also what part of the issue with the MCU is. There's characters making a lot of quips that you don't really
that shouldn't
expect.
really be
yeah,
making
exactly.
quips. Yeah.
But I felt like this one had the appropriate amount of quips and by the correct characters.
Yes. I love the chemistry between Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought
it was-
it
I thought
built
the
their
whole,
friendship.
I thought the whole family was really solid.
Overall, as a whole, yes. One of my negatives is that Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal, their chemistry in certain scenes weren't my favorite, like Sue Storm and Reed Richards. But that's a negative. Positives,
I think their fights were appropriately awkward.
yes.
Like they were supposed to be like off-putting, where you were kind of like, they don't, because Reed is like thinking a million steps ahead, if you will.
Yeah, and not
And
thinking in the moment.
Sue's trying to be like,
It's our child, my guy.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought Pedro Pascal, although I still don't know if I love the look of him because remember
he did have the gray white streaks on the side.
did.
So, but I do agree, his face is not rectangular enough.
He doesn't scream Mr. Fantastic still,
Yeah.
even as Mr. Fantastic. But I thought acting wise and was great.
Okay.
And I was never really concerned. I do think that whether people are tired of him or whatever,
He did good.
having issues with him, I think he's a very good actor. Vanessa Kirby, I thought she did a solid job. I thought also it showed off, even as little as we saw the Invisible Woman's powers, it did show that her powers are more than just being invisible.
Yeah.
It did a really good job
She's got
showcasing
the force fields.
how
like,
powerful they are.
Yeah, exactly. We could feel the family vibe, which I think was good. Obviously, the 4 actors as a whole was good. I felt like the writing made it feel like it was a family.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I liked the waiting for dinner.
Exactly.
I thought
It was just good, yeah. Solo movie that was wasn't forced to connect anything. It felt fresh. Mole Man was great. Nice little super supporting character, but just enough to be like,
few moments,
favorite moment was the intergalactic space tunnel. We actually saw the Silver Surfer surf.
That is true.
Which sounds so weird to say, but I haven't seen Rise of the Silver Surfer in years.
My favorite scene was the birthing scene.
When Ben Grimm just looks directly at her crotch?
No, when she just took forever to take her pants off. I was like, are we going to take these pants off, or is she
the
having
baby popping through the pants itself?
I was like, is the baby having it in the pants?
The baby takes the pants off using his crazy powers.
Yeah, I think my favorite scene was probably seeing Galactus when they enter the ship and they finally see Galactus. I was like, because we hadn't really we saw his foot, we saw like kind of his outline from trailers and
then
whatnot.
Boom.
But actually seeing him, you're like, they didn't F it up.
Yeah. I will say too, another positive is that I was a little worried that it was going to get the Superman score thing where I felt like
we would have
Superman,
kept hearing the Fantastic
Four. I was like a little worried about it.
I was already getting tired of hearing it before we even went into the Fantastic
Exactly. Like similar to the Superman movie where it felt like they had the same song for the entire score. This one had different scores, and I was like, this is nice. It's refreshing in a really weird way. Do you have any other positives?
Well, I already mentioned that I liked the CGI.
Yep.
I felt like all the characters felt very fitting for their who they were. They were very true in the writing to all the characters. Like I loved seeing Ben like walking just the streets, and seeing showing off for the kids, picking up the car.
Yep.
Still trying to live a normal life given the situation that he's in, because I know a lot of his stories always like, oh, like I would love to be normal again.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that, which we've seen in previous Fantastic Four films as well. But I thought they really nailed that. Johnny, like we mentioned, they did a good job with his one-liners, but also still being kind of I don't want to say a womanizer. They didn't really push the womanizer, but that he's like, he's a ladies' man.
He's a sucker for a woman.
Yeah, he's
like,
a sucker.
He's
a sucker. He's a
yeah.
sucker for
cute
a
woman. All right.
Yeah, he's a sucker for a
I like
pretty
women.
lady.
I like space.
But
Two
they
things
also
I like
did
the
a good
most.
job with his intelligence.
Yeah.
And that also showing like Sue is smart, but she also not only is Sue smart, but she also understands Reed,
Yeah.
which is like its own puzzle, if
Yes.
you will. And I really liked that they didn't like have to like tell us, oh yeah, Reed made that. You can just assume like half the stuff going on in the Baxter Building is Reed making it
at
or
least,
making
if
it
not
work.
all of it.
I mean, we literally watched him create teleportation in the film
With an egg.
and just I love the scenes of him writing equations and stretching just very like casually, like he's been doing it for his whole life. And we talked about one of our negatives in Ironheart being that she's supposed to be this hyper intelligence character, and it did feel like there were moments where the writing just didn't understand the level of intelligence the character's at. And that's totally, I know we had some comments about like emotional intelligence, which is totally a different thing, and I agree. But there were definitely moments that an intelligent character would just make different choices in general. Mm-hmm. And I felt like for Reed, they did a good job of writing like he is thinking of every
possibility
scenario. It doesn't matter. Like, obviously, he is not going to give up his child, but he has to think of, because he's thinking of every variable.
Exactly.
And that is one of the possibilities. It has multiple possibilities of we could give him a kid, and he could still destroy the planet.
Exactly.
Right? Like, he's thinking of everything, and I thought they did a really good job of showing that, you know, when you're that hyper intelligent, like, you're looking at good, bad, like every possibility.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really well done. I also like that it wasn't long. It was it could have been maybe like, you could have added maybe like 10 more minutes to flesh out the Silver Surfer a bit better.
Yeah, I feel like it was a good length. I would not have hated it if it was like 10, 15 minutes longer. Just for small things.
Just for like, yeah, a lot of it Silver Surfer based, I think.
I wanted more Ben Grimm. Like, I feel like there was so many little hints of like him flirting with this character and like his culture and stuff, but I felt like we missed something. Like, we got to see him, you know, clobber time. But
I still did a good job of showing like his humanity was there.
Yeah,
right?
but I think it would have been nice to get a little bit more. I was thinking maybe that he would have, like, maybe with cutting out Red Ghost, he might have had a scene with Red Ghost because orangutans and obviously, like, so he would have been fighting them mostly maybe. But that's kind of my nitpicking negative.
Yeah.
Where
I feel like I do like that. Hey, it did not need to be like way over 2 hours.
No, gosh, no.
It was, hey, this is always gonna be this. It's gonna be a 2 hour film. It was nice. We went in, we watched it. It was done, and you were like, oh, it was nice. We didn't have to be here for 3 hours.
Exactly. It's always fun too because we go to the movies and usually my older brother comes with too, and he's not into comics in the slightest. Like, he's there, he's like, superhero film, sure, I'm committed to Marvel at this point, right? And it's so funny because he's just like, yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, and he's kind of like our like gauge there.
Yeah, exactly. Because when he says it's a bad movie, I'm like, oh, maybe it was a bad movie.
There's something wrong with it.
Yeah, I was like, man, I need to think this over again. Some negatives. Do you got any negatives?
So obviously the big negative, like I mentioned, is the Silver Surfer
Shalaba.
felt like she only showed up when like the story required it.
Yes.
You know
Plot
what I mean?
convenience.
Yeah, like I do feel like they could have fleshed her out just a bit more. Like that scene with Johnny when he finally figures out her language and like bombards her with like her planet trying to communicate, and then she just kind of dips after that. You're just kind of like, what the heck? Like, what?
Yeah.
And then she doesn't come back until the big save at the end, which I feel like most people saw coming because like we just got the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not gonna
sacrifice himself.
He's not gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't
Though that line delivery was good with Johnny being like, tell him Uncle Johnny says he loves him.
Yeah, that was good.
I was like, great line delivery. But yeah, you're like, oh.
I just thought, I just felt like she was perhaps underused. Like she could have been used a wee bit more and had just a little bit more fleshed out. So it wasn't like, because that Johnny scene just felt very forced.
That's fair.
Like, I understand that I thought they could have used him like deciphering language just as a way to communicate to her to how to help, or like that they're still, you know, thinking about her, whatever. They could have used it as a different way to manipulate, to have her help in general fighting Galactus. If it was a way to turn her and they're all fighting together and then she sacrificed, it would have felt, hey, I fought alongside these people. This is their planet. I'm already, you know, I'm already the Silver Surfer. Like, I'm already connected. I'll kick him out. That would have felt better than just like zipping off to nowhere and being like, oh, I guess we're done with her.
I guess she helped us, and okay, thanks.
And then she comes and helps at the end. You're like, oh, goodbye again.
Yeah. Oh, hi, bye.
So yeah, I thought honestly that was my biggest negative, was just the overall usage of the Silver Surfer. Other than that, we mentioned that the kind of disparity with the size, that was a little weird.
I have one,
but nitpicky. Like, I feel like a lot of people didn't even like notice that. Like,
that's the thing. My nitpicky negative is Easter egg nitpicky.
Oh, an Easter egg nitpicky. That's like extreme.
That's
level.
extreme nitpicky. But I feel like we got like a couple different Easter eggs of like Latveria being an established nation.
Oh, we didn't see the guy.
But they weren't there at like the Future Foundation. Like they weren't a couple other things. And I'm like, okay, so it feels like you're setting up Doom.
But it's just Easter eggs.
I know it's just, I know,
they're teasing
but
you
it's
the whole time.
like,
it would have been cool to see Doom at like
just a dude named Victor or
at the
something.
Nations, like when you see it and they first look, like it would have been cool to see him there. because obviously like that's his country.
Exactly.
So it would have been cool to see him, whether he's masked or see him leaving maybe while they're giving a speech. That would have been a cool thing to see, like the cape and just watching him walk away. It's like you still don't see the face, you don't see the mask. That could have been a good
something, yeah.
But you just want that little bit extra. Eh?
Yeah, I think because knowing that like certain scenes were shot, like cut, and like obviously we knew RDJ was on set. I'm like, did they cut a shot of like? But that's so many other theories and questions and stuff. But again, it's a super nitpick for me. But yeah, enjoyment. You liked it, obviously.
Yeah, I said it was not an overly complicated film. It was fun. Focused, had some really good themes around family. You know, those moral decisions. Because it is pretty crazy when you think about it. Like, would you give up your child? Probably not.
No.
So like, but it is definitely like you could save the entire planet.
Selfishness to the point of selflessness. Like but it's a powerful thing, really.
Great villain.
Yep.
An iconic Marvel villain. Finally,
not a
given
Cloud.
given the justice he deserves.
Hopefully we can get Parallax next.
Yeah.
Be more than just a Cloud.
Fix all the clouds.
Yeah, fix all the Cloud monsters.
It really did give like that Marvel is back feeling though.
Return of Phase 1 feel almost.
Feeling, it's just obviously we're looking at it now, so it is disappointing to see that it's not exploding in the box office, the word of mouth, because I feel like I know we're spreading that it's a positive.
Yeah.
I have seen a ton of positive stuff. But I'm surprised it actually hasn't. I was kind of
Exploded.
expecting the second week to do really well.
Yeah, I expected that too as well.
Because I thought it would have been going the way of Marvel fans are going to see it no matter what.
Yeah.
Good, bad,
we're seeing it.
we're watching it.
Yeah.
And that goes whether we had a podcast or not. Like we would have still been there. Like that weekend, we would have been watching it together. And if it was bad, we would have been like, "Wow, that was bad," and then we would see the next Marvel film.
Exactly. We'd move on.
But I thought it was going to be like those people go see it, and they're like, "It's good. You can go see it.
Yeah, you can go see it now, guys.
You're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
wasting your money." That's what I thought the impact was going to be, and I thought we were going to see maybe either very similar or only like slight decline in the box office. But wow,
We didn't.
yeah, that's scary. I do think Marvel's going to have to be a lot more creative because I hope this doesn't make.
Well, that's what I mean. The Thunderbolts marketing was amazing.
Yes.
And then I think they just got scared. They're like, I don't know how we're going to top that. So let's just reveal all this extra marketing before the movie. And then
They could have already had that planned out too. I
Yeah.
just think they need to be more. I hope there's a few things. One, I hope Marvel does not think it's not worth putting the time in for
Yeah.
the story and making up the movie good.
Mhm.
You know, because obviously, Ant-Man Quantumanium, not a great film, but made a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they don't look at that and go, "Yeah, but that made a lot of money."
exactly.
I hope they realize like it's better to put these out. They just need to be better with money.
So my question to that is that with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, obviously Paul Rudd, beloved actor, right? And Pedro Pascal in the last few years has really only done nerd-based stuff.
Yes.
So do you think that Fantastic Four might have not done as well because outside of Pedro Pascal, the other main cast members aren't as big?
No, I don't think that has as big of an impact as many people think.
Okay.
Like, it's hard for me because I'm, like I said, I would see the movie no matter what.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I could care less, you know, who the actors are sometimes.
I agree. Don't get me wrong.
Like, sometimes when I look, I'm like, I don't know who any of those are. Hopefully they do a good job.
Yeah.
That's what matters to me. Hopefully they do a good job.
Yeah,
I don't
hopefully
care.
they do the character justice.
Like, Doctor Doom could be anyone. And I would, if he does a good job, I would like him.
Grand old time.
For me, it doesn't have, I almost don't want it to be
Yeah.
RDJ
A
personally.
big, yeah. That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was definitely a good film. It was nice to see two good films in a row with decent writing and not overly quippy. Although there was a lot of jokes in the Thunderbolts, but makes sense for the group and some of the members, and some of it's like more dry humor.
Yep.
But hopefully it continues this trajectory.
Fingers crossed. We got 3 big movies coming.
But I do think for films outside of Avengers films, Marvel does need to kind of find like that spot where it's like, can we make a film within that 250 budget, 300 budget? Because they're
That's the
not going to
downside,
be, they're
is
not going to be
that-
hitting those instant 500,
No.
like 700 mil
But
movies.
the
anymore.
next 3 movies will probably. We got 2 Avengers films and Spider-Man.
Yeah, those 3 will
So
probably do
it's
good
really
no matter
depends
what.
what's going to happen after Avengers Secret War, which we'll be here to cover that.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, some fun little Easter eggs. Obviously, Fantastic Four villains all get name dropped / you see at the post credit scene of the animated intro. We see Red Ghost, Diablo, Wizard, Puppet Master, which are really like C-list characters in the MCU. Sorry, in Marvel Comics overall. Wizard creates the Frightful Four, super irrelevant. We see in the opening montage, we see Giganto, who is this creature coming out of the sewer. That is right off the first comic book cover of Fantastic Four. Their ship that they go into space with is called Excelsior 1, obviously tribute to Stan Lee. We have the original 1994 live-action Fantastic Four cast that they made a movie and never got released back in 1994. They had a cameo when they were doing like the little different interviews across like the screen, like the montage near the beginning. They had a whole thing. I think they were like, "Thanks, Fantastic Four." There was a scene when we look through the window of a building and there's these 2 dudes doing comic book art. Those actors were in the credits saying they're like Timely Comics #1, Timely Comics #2. That Timely Comics A was the original name of Marvel Comics before it became Marvel Comics, and both of them looked like very young Stan Lee, young Jack Kirby, which obviously if you didn't know, those are the creators of the Fantastic Four, which then leaves the last Easter egg that is this Fantastic Four First Steps takes place on Earth 828, which is aka August 28th, which is Jack Kirby's birthday.
Nice touch.
Nice touch, a little tribute to him. Probably a bunch of other Easter eggs that I left out,
that we missed.
but it's all right.
But yeah, overall, I think, what would you say? I would say, I don't know if it's a 9. What would we say it was for the fan? 92?
Not a 9.2. I
don't
would
know.
be more closer. I'd be in between IMDb and the critic
Yeah,
score.
I would say
like
like
a solid 8.
8.25.
Yeah, like just over the 8 mark.
Definitely I would watch it again.
Yeah.
Definitely would watch again. But I'm going to add this question here near the end for you, Matt. Superman or Fantastic Four? Which one did you like more?
I enjoyed Fantastic Four more.
You enjoyed the Fantastic Four more?
Reason being is that Superman, great action superhero film. I am a story buff personally. I love
you also
storytelling.
are just not a big Superman fan in general.
Superman's not in my top 10
He's a little bit on the
superheroes.
boring side for you.
A little bit on the boring side. Don't get me wrong. Superman Unchained, great story.
Oh, I love Superman.
Superman Unchained, chef's kiss story for comics. But you're not that big of a Superman fan either. But
No,
it's,
but I think I liked Superman
you
more.
like Superman more.
And
That's
it
fair.
could be also because that might have been the best Superman film ever made.
Fair.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Although this is also the best
The best Fantastic Four film, so your argument's out the window here.
Yeah, I think we've also just been waiting for a really good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say like the Fantastic Four for me, like they're pretty boring as well. Like when you break it down, who are the important characters of Fantastic Four? You're taking out Reed.
It's Reed.
And that's why you got the Illuminati. You get to
Yeah.
You don't need the Fantastic Four. You're just like, okay, I grab him, throw him in
It's
the
Reed.
Illuminati.
Good to go. Yeah.
All right, and who do we need? Oh, Doctor Doom, because he's a crazy bad guy for
Yeah.
the Avengers. He's not gonna fight the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
He's an Avengers level threat.
Exactly.
We're gonna use him for
Boom.
the Avengers.
Exactly.
You know, you just take the important pieces and
Yeah.
throw. Like I could throw the other pieces away.
It's true.
But yeah, I think I liked Superman shockingly more. I just thought I think it might be one of the best comic book feeling films.
Comic book, yes.
Like it really did feel like a comic. Like they really brought Superman to life, and it really felt like a comic book happening on the screen.
Which, if you want to know more our thoughts on Superman, check out our episode from a couple weeks ago where we did a full deep dive similar to this for Superman. Remember, if you like Marvel, you like DC, you like anime, manga, Star Wars, whatever nerd stuff.
Yeah, drop a comment down below
drop
if
a
there's
comment.
anything that you want us to talk about, and as long as it's basically not Star Trek, we will try.
Exactly. Have you subscribed yet?
Doctor Who.
Or
Doctor
Doctor Who. Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
no offense, but that's just we're more fantasy than sci-fi, but straight sci-fi.
Straight.
Because
Although
Star
we're
Wars is
trying.
sci-fi
We're trying.
fantasy. We're trying. We're slowly
Which we'll
trying.
get into. We'll get into.
Stay
at a
tuned in
later
the future
date.
for that. But if you've made it this far in this episode, thank you so much for listening. Make sure to
Like,
comment, the whole
subscribe.
shebang. Surprise to subscribe.
subscribe
And surprise. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week where we're talking about some big news that came out from couple different cons. So next week's episode will be a little bit of fun things.
Yeah, a little bit of news catch up.
Exactly. But until then, yeah, we'll see you then.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you. And see you next week.